Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Press Box. Really pleased to start off our spring season with the varsity baseball team from St. Clair, Coach Denny White, Garrick Anglin, Cam Jabero, Sam Winston. Welcome, guys. Glad you could make it. Beautiful day, finally.
Finally.
And you're not playing.
We need to practice. It works out fine.
That's right. So, Denny, let's start out with you. And so far, a really good season. 14-5 overall, 9-3 in the blue. Talk a little bit about some of the good things that have happened so far this year.
Well, there's all kinds of good things. Our strongest point, I think, is our pitching. Gehrig, of course, Cam, Ian Jansen, Ryan Zimmer, a freshman, Max Gottler, a freshman, Kevin Zoplitz, a freshman, Scott Selleck, a sophomore. Yes. I think that's probably our strongest point, and our defense.
Okay. Although it does seem like you're scoring lots of runs as well. You seem like you're being able to put some runs on the board pretty quickly.
We are now. Initially, that was a struggle.
Okay.
Yeah, we were having.
The weather had something to do with it, you think?
I think it had a lot to do with it. Yeah.
So you talk about fielding. One of the strengths is your defense. Who are some of the standouts, and what do you do well in the defense?
We simply play well. Sam is our catcher, so it starts there. Ryan Zimmer is our third baseman, and Garrick is our shortstop, third baseman, pitcher. So it all depends on who pitches. If Ryan pitches, then Gehrig is the third baseman. If Gehrig pitches, Ryan is the third baseman, and Ian is the shortstop. If Ian pitches, then Gehrig is the shortstop, and Ryan. It gets a little complicated.
I get it. So you kind of alluded. There seems to be an interesting mix this year. You've had some really good teams in the past, and frankly, some very experienced teams. But this year, for the first time, maybe not the first time, but certainly there's a predominance, it seems, of freshmen and sophomores that are getting significant playing time. What are some of the challenges of having a younger team like that?
I think part of it is in the summertime they've been very, very good. If they played Fed ball or Little League or a combination of both, they've really dominated the situation. And then when you're a freshman and you begin playing against seniors, you're not dominant anymore. And how you handle that failure is going to determine if you're successful or not.
Sure.
And we've done a really good job. And I need to say that I'm really pleasantly surprised that there's such a spread, because there's 3 freshmen, 2 sophomores, 4 seniors, that they blend so well together off the field. Now, they've done some things that Cam can talk about that they had full participation in that was really a surprise.
That's interesting, because I think one of the things is it's not just the physical, it's also kind of the emotional and maturity of the younger kids as well.
Yeah, and it has to be, simply because as a freshman, you think you're out there by yourself anyway, and you look at these 3 and go, oh, I can't play like that. And how the seniors interact with the young guys makes all the difference in the world.
So one of the interesting, changing subject just a little bit, one of the interesting things this year, and that is a rule change, is the pitch count. And you've been a pitching coach for many years.
Thank you.
How has that changed, maybe the way you approach the game? Has it had an effect like they thought it was going to have?
It's had an effect a couple of times on us. We, in the past, our 3-game league series starters go about 120 on average. And so the max is 105. So now there's another inning in there that you don't get to do. And so we need more pitching. But fortunately, like I mentioned already, there's pitching available.
Yeah, so that really helps, especially. But it would seem to me, though, as a manager, though, to have to worry about pitch count like in the 6th inning when they're potentially tying runs or so on. I mean, do you try to start a new pitcher at the beginning of the inning, or do you want to get your starter as many pitches as he can have?
Well, it depends on what's going on. It depends on how he's doing in the strike zone, how many hits that they've had, how close he is to the max. And we've done both. Like last night, we took out Ian before the end of an inning. We've done it in the past when he's reached 104 against Marysville, and we had to take him. Don't have a choice. You have to take him out. The best thing from my perspective is that the reliever gets to warm up, because most of our players are already on the field. So you have to plan ahead in order to get them some time to throw.
I see.
Otherwise, you walk out there and say, Gary, come here, it's your turn to pitch.
Change your glove
wait, I didn't warm up yet.
Okay. So, I mean, have you seen any other coaches playing it differently, like trying to extend at bats or those sorts of things to drive up that pitch count? Taking more pitches?
Not as obvious as I would have thought it was.
Okay.
No, I would have thought that, particularly for the number one guy, that they would have spent a lot of time not swinging at first pitches, and no, that's not happened.
Okay.
I mean, occasionally, but not in a planned sense.
So tell us a little about the league. You're second place right now in the MAC Blue. Obviously Northern, we'll talk about them a little bit, but tell us a little bit about some of the other teams in the Blue and what you see.
We're in the MAC Blue. It's made up of 6 teams. It's us in Marysville, our Division II, Utica, Warren Mott, Port Huron Northern, Port Huron High. What did I miss? That's it.
Yeah.
That's 6.
Okay. And so it's kind of, you're playing up, right, to a certain extent. And
Yeah. We always try to do that, though. Over the years, we've been pretty good, and so it pays to play up. Otherwise, your record looks really good, but you haven't played anyone. So when you get to the districts and the regional, and it's crunch time, you really don't have that experience, and it's not good.
Yeah, I get it. Well, guys, let's talk to you guys for just a couple minutes here. So, Cam, let's start with you. Give me a little bit about your background. When did you start in baseball? Coach talked about Little League Fed. What did you do as you started out?
I started baseball as long as I really can remember. I definitely loved baseball my whole career, from Little League to playing Fed ball. And Sam and I played a lot of baseball together through his dad, Stu Winston, to the Little League, and that was always a great time. I think me and Sam definitely have developed a great relationship through baseball, and I think I can say that a lot about the kids on my team. We built a really great friendship through that, and I think that's why I like baseball so much. And yeah, just every summer, Little League, just always playing baseball, and I think it's definitely something I enjoy a lot.
So you play right field. Is there a right field that's tougher to play in the league just because of the way the field's set up?
Our home field.
I was thinking of that because of the sun.
Yeah.
Definitely our home field. The sun sits right there every single game. Yeah, it's tough.
So, all right, let's ask a technical question. What do you do when you know you got that coming up? How do you approach it? How do you approach a fly ball?
I've always borrowed my coach's sunglasses, Coach Boulard actually. I borrow his sunglasses, and then
You
really
have your own sunglasses, or his sunglasses luckier?
No, I just I haven't been able to go spend some money on sunglasses, so I borrow his, and it's getting the job done, so it's all that matters. Honestly, it's just the sunglasses help a lot. Like before, I thought I don't need sunglasses, and it's not going to worry. But definitely this year, I've been wearing sunglasses every game, and that usually gets the job done. But on days that it's super sunny and the ball gets right into the sun, you have to adjust. You have to put your glove up. You have to just do certain things to make sure. And it's all about too is the track to the ball. If you can get a good read on the ball and tell yourself the ball is going to be here, if you're a couple steps off, you can make the adjustment when you can see the ball.
So as a right fielder, what's the toughest play?
I would say honestly the do or dies. The ball's coming hard at you, it's rolling on the ground. You've got to get in the front and make the throw, and that's the most important part is getting the ball. And it's I think for any outfield really, that's a tough play. It's just coming in as fast as you can to get the ball, and the ball's coming at you. And it's just you never know if it's going to bounce up. You never know if it's going to not. You roll too fast. You just got to make the play.
One of the other idiosyncrasies, I think, of St. Clair, it must have the biggest right field foul area, maybe in the history of the world. I mean, you can run, it seems like 100 feet there.
Yep.
I mean, if the ball gets past the first baseman, the right fielder has a lot of work to do.
It definitely is the hustle. I'm getting my sprints in right there.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk Sam. You're the catcher, right? I think one of the interesting things, tell us a little about your background as well.
I've started off playing baseball, and then just my parents introduced me to football and basketball, and just been an athlete my whole life, and I love doing what I do.
And you're a 3-sport athlete, right? You played
Yes,
all
sir.
3.
Yes,
So
sir.
one of the interesting things, and Coach and I did a lot of the football games this fall, you were a linebacker, correct,
Yes,
as
sir.
a football player. For your perspective, the physicality of a linebacker in playing football, and then to the physicality of the catcher, where you're probably more than any other player on the field, blocking pitches, blocking the plate, and so on. How do you see that? I mean, what's your approach to that?
Well, in my eyes, it's very similar because linebacker position, you're always getting hit. You kind of have to you're kind of like the last line of defense in perspective. And I just translate my football career into baseball too. So when there's a play at a play or a ball in the dirt, I just use my body and block it because I've been doing that my whole life with football. So.
Okay. So, Yeah, Coach White said you're hitting about over 400, 440, I think, this year. It's a real asset if you have a catcher who's an offensive force. How do you manage to do that, given everything you have to do as a catcher?
I just love what I'm doing right now. I just love playing with my best friends, and I love playing for Coach White and Coach McCoworth and Coach Boulard, and I just love what I'm doing right now. Just love baseball and just love being out there.
So I got to ask you, have you seen the commercial with Jason Kipnis? And so has anybody kind of said, Winston, that kind of reminds us of you?
No, but
Do you see it, or?
yeah, I see it. But today, really, it was clear.
There's a commercial just so that people know that Jason Kipnis, who's the Indian second baseman and has a reputation of being just getting dirty, just all into the baseball game, and he's making dinner and wiping his hands on his uniform, and he goes in the closet, pulls out another dirty uniform when one gets dirty. I just think it's great, and again, Sam, I think it's a compliment, frankly, but it reminds me of the way you play.
Thank you. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta play that way. You just gotta go all out, and I try correlating that with all three sports, and that's how I love to play.
So you're the catcher, kind
Yes,
of the
sir.
coach on the field. I mean, certainly the extension of the coach on the field. What do you say to a pitcher like Gehrig or Cam if they're having a little bit of problems out there?
Sometimes it all depends on the situation. Sometimes I'll try to be the funny guy and try to calm them down, or I'll just be straight up serious with them and tell them what's actually going on and tell them what they have to fix and improve. But it's easy with Gehrig because Gehrig's been doing this for a long time, and with Gehrig I usually just joke around because he knows what's going on and he's been in this position before, so
So
it all
can I
depends.
ask you, can you remember anything funny he said to you that's at least repeatable on TV?
It's repeatable on TV. One time he came up to the mound and just said he farted and then walked home.
That's close to being
Yeah.
very repeatable. Something on TV.
No,
How
that's
about you,
funny
Cam?
too. Sam comes up to me and he's like, I just farted and I think the umpire smelled it. So I'm coming out here.
All right, so as we degenerate even farther, that's great. Though. I love that. So, Garrett, let's turn to you. And first of all, I got to ask. I'm from New York originally, and the name Gehrig there means an awful lot. Tell us about how that name evolved, and have you ever talked to your parents about how you got it?
Well, it's mostly from my father and my mother. They both love baseball and softball, and my dad played for a really long time. And when I was born, they wanted to name me like after someone in baseball or something. And like one of the names that came up was like Rawlings, but they didn't want to name me that. So then they brought up Gehrig, and that just stuck.
I think it's a great name, and again, Lou Gehrig, the Iron Horse, one of the greatest Yankees of all time. So that's it's certainly quite a legacy and a name to live up to as well. And it sounds like you are. So same kind of question. How'd you start in baseball?
Just like them, ever since I could remember, started playing. My dad introduced me to it, and it just stuck really. I started playing travel ball when I was about 7. Played travel till now.
Okay.
Still playing.
So, Coach mentioned you play a lot of different positions. Do you like one position better than the others, or do you feel you're best at one position?
Like them all the same.
Do you
Honestly.
really?
As long as I'm out there, I'm having fun.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
What are the challenges? So, I mean, if you're going from shortstop to third base or pitcher, from your perspective, how do you approach that without getting confused, if nothing else?
I mean, there's not a lot to get confused about, I would say, but I mean, mostly at third base, like you gotta think more, like where you're starting off, like before the pitcher pitches the ball. But they're both on the same side of the field, so it's kind of like the same technique that goes into it.
Okay. You're hitting, according to Coach, 491. First of all, it's disappointing you're under 500. I mean, what's going on? But I mean, that means literally a hit every other time up. So what are you doing this year that's really helping you be so successful?
Taking more swings, like when I'm off the field, like
Really? Okay.
yeah, just getting those reps in, so I can keep the repetitiveness of the swing.
Okay. So I guess Coach mentioned this, but I'm interested always. You guys are the 3 of the seniors on the team and captains and so on. What do you guys do to help the younger players, Cam? I mean, is there something specific that you tried to make happen to make them feel part of the team?
Honestly, not anything specific. I think us 3 have definitely tried to make it so they don't feel like they're freshmen. I mean, besides picking up balls and raking the field,
Which you're supposed to do,
the
'cause they're
freshmen deal with it, But other than that, we make sure we want them to all be our best friends. Baseball, I think we both us 3 have grown up where baseball, you're going to go, you're going to play with your friends, you're going to have a great time doing it. And with the freshmen, I think they came up looking a little big-eyed. They were scared, deer in headlights. But I think right away we jumped on them. We tried to get them to really enjoy baseball. It's just another baseball game. And we've done things like team dinners where, it's just we're all just hanging out. And that's simply what we're trying to do, build chemistry here. We went to Buffalo Wild Wings after we had a morning practice, and after school we went to Buffalo Wild Wings to watch the Michigan game.
Okay.
We got everyone to come and go and just have a good time. And we also went to the Tigers game, which was something cool Coach White brought upon us, and it was just a really cool experience for everyone to get together and just gel more as a team. And I think it's definitely helped all the freshmen out a lot, because now they're not thinking like, I'm a freshman on varsity. Now it's just I'm another baseball player helping the team out.
Sam, do you take any different approach to a freshman pitch? You mentioned Garrick's been there a lot. He knows what he's doing. What about a freshman? The coach mentioned there's a couple of freshman pitchers. How do you approach them when you go out there if they're having a little trouble?
With a freshman pitcher or a younger pitcher, I usually take it more serious and tell them straight up, because they don't really know how to like grasp the situation sometimes, and sometimes they need to know what's going on, because Coach White will tell them straight up what's going on and what they need to do, and sometimes that just pushes them to work harder, and that's what the whole goal is when they're in trouble. So.
Good. Gary, interesting, you're going to Wright State on a baseball scholarship, is that correct?
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about that recruitment and how you picked Wright State, what makes it interesting to you?
Well, first of all, Wright State noticed me because I went to one of their baseball camps last fall.
Okay.
And
why'd you pick Wright State?
I just went to the camp.
Okay.
I was interested in the school a little bit,
Yep.
so thought I'd go there, try it out. Stood out at the camp. Coach pulled me in after, talked to me. He said, we're going to keep in touch and stuff. And called him a week later, and he offered me a spot on the roster for next year. And then took it a few days later.
Excellent. So what are you going to play there? Do you know yet?
I don't know yet. Anywhere. Position player. So.
Hitter.
Yep.
Hitter. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate the good conversation. Coach, let's talk. We got to talk a little bit about Northern, and I already talked to the guys a little before we came on the show. But from your perspective, what happened last night?
We had a plan. What we wanted to do is attack the pitcher, because he's an outstanding pitcher. We did that in the first inning, and we got a run, and we felt really good after the top half of the first. And then we made a couple of mistakes in the bottom half of the first, and at the end of the inning, we're down, I think, 3-1. And then we made another mistake, and it was like a fever, and it caught on, and we really struggled. Our strong point, our defense, struggled. The good news is we play them twice more.
Yep.
And we still have an opportunity to be tied for first. The better news is it wasn't one person, it was everybody. So it wasn't that there's no pointing fingers, it was just a bad night. We picked the wrong team to have a bad night against.
I think it was Earl Weaver said that momentum in baseball is next day starting pitcher. So you got a day off here. Who starts for you tomorrow?
Ryan Zimmer.
Okay. And are you going to approach it any differently? Are you going to try to do the same things, or what do you change? I mean, what do you tell your team?
Well, this afternoon we're going to divide the team up and play a game and try and get play back into the game.
Yep.
I think that the downside of a game like you had last night is the carryover, and you don't want that to be a carryover. And we can sit and talk about it, but that doesn't really get the job done. We need to go out and just play and remember how good we are and just play again. Mm-hmm. And it's one thing if you play well and someone beats you, okay, somebody's going to lose, somebody's going to win.
Sure.
But if you play poorly, then it becomes mental to get back out of that. And
Right.
That's what we're going to work on today.
No, excellent, excellent. Well, you've got a very challenging, not just Northern here for a couple more games, but you've got a tournament this weekend with, I think, 4 Class A teams as well coming in?
Yeah, 3 of them.
Three of them,
Yeah.
and then
next week, yeah.
and 4 next week. So is there a kind of a philosophy of getting ready for the districts going on as you approach the first part of June?
I think so. We like I mentioned, it's traditionally ours is a strong program, and I think what happens is if you play teams that are at least not as good as you are, then you get a false sense of security. Number one, and number two, you don't get presented with situations that you have to deal with.
Right.
And it's so hard to do that in practice because you know it's practice, and everybody cheats over this way a little bit that you're not going to be able to do in a real game. So we try to play as many Division I teams as possible. And this year, I think that we play 33 games, and 26 or 27 of them are against the Class A schools.
So districts are a little funny this year and a little bit different than normal. Tell us a little bit about what the districts are going to be. You don't want to go too far ahead, but I know you're thinking about it now as you get to the end of May.
This year, the state moves Richmond out of our district every 2 years. For whatever reason, I don't know. So this year, there's only 4 teams. There's Algonac, Marine City, us, and Marysville. Marine City and Marysville play the first game in the district. We play Algonac in the second game, and the 2 winners play the third game.
Okay, and where are the districts this year?
Marine City.
Okay. So any scouting report on the 3 teams at this point? Have you looked at them at all? I know you played Marysville.
We played Marysville. The other 2, we don't know anything about.
Okay.
But from our philosophy, I think it's important. I don't want to say we don't care, but we spend more time on what we do as opposed to what they do.
Sure.
And it's like Sam in his football defense. You have to deal with what we're going to do, and if you can do that, then more power to you. And that's what we would like to have happen.
Yeah, excellent. So, okay, I appreciate you guys coming in. I think it's been very interesting, more maybe about Sam's digestive processes than I was expecting to hear, but all to the good. I want to thank you again for coming in. Thanks. I know you're having a great season. Continue on. I will say St. Clair plays Port Huron Northern tomorrow, 4:30 starting time over at the high school, and that's 2 really good baseball teams going at it. If you've got some time, go over and see the game. So, wrapping up here, thanks again, guys. John Carter, first spring version of Press Box saying good afternoon, and we'll see you again next week. Bye, everybody.